Hi everyone, I'm Courtney and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that you might be concerned about right now if you clicked on the video, which is the topic of overeating, weight gain, and the holiday season. So this time of year, I see a lot of articles pop up and, a lot of them are titled like 5 recommendations to avoid weight gain during the holiday season, 8 tips to avoid overeating this holiday season. So it's obviously something that's on a lot of people's minds. As much as we're all excited about the holiday season, a lot of us, including myself for most of my life in the past, while we're really excited, we're also a bit nervous about what kind of food we're going to be around, what kind of things we might do with that food. Are we going to overindulge? Will we gain weight? And all of these kinds of concerns. So today I want to talk about that. Now, this is also relevant for really any type of holiday that you might celebrate or that might be coming up. At the moment of this recording, it is just prior to American Thanksgiving. So a lot of people in America are often concerned about, at this time of year, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's. But this is true for really any kind of holiday season that you might be having that involves a lot of eating or maybe that you've concerned about overindulging in. And this video is going to be a bit different than those trendy articles about, 5 tips to avoid overeating and things. Even though I have the knowledge and kind of like the nutritional training to be able to give you some recommendations on the physical side, and maybe at some point I would make a video like that. But today's video isn't going to be about, being hydrated or drinking green juice or having enough fiber. Like I said, even though there's quite a few things I could recommend to help, avoid indulging on a physical side, the truth is that none of those things are really going to make a huge long-term impact. And that's why so many people are reading those same articles the next year and then the next year and the next year, and every year they've got anxiety about what they might do with food. Every year they have anxiety about gaining weight. And maybe every year they do have too much food and they do gain weight. So what I'm really interested in my coaching, in this channel, in everything I share, is helping you find permanent healing, long-term healing of issues rather than quick fixes. So this video is going to be a bit more on the emotional side. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about today is the main reason why we overindulge in holiday seasons. And the reason why we overindulge during a holiday season is the exact same reason why we might do it the rest of the year. So, as I've talked about with other videos, the truth is that the reason why we ever overeat or compulsively eat, emotionally eat, binge eat, whatever term you want to use, the reason why we do that is always because we have a desire to suppress feelings. Now, I know that might be a little hard to hear, or it might be like weird to try to apply that to the holiday season, because I know a lot of people feel like, well, no, it's just that there's unique foods around and it's like quite festive and, it's just sort of that time, and maybe the problem is just that I don't have enough willpower, or, the things that are around are just objectively tempting. But I'm going to challenge you on that a bit and just say that no matter what time of year it is or what's going on, when we eat in a way that is not so good for our body or our goals, or is quite bad for those things, it is always for that same reason, which is it is the result of our desire to suppress feelings. Now, of course, it may be that it is the same kinds of feelings that we're suppressing the rest of the year with food, so it's like the same stuff. However, I think the added layer to it during holidays for a lot of people is that a lot of people are around their families. Families or, maybe long-term friends, that kind of thing. And we've all seen enough Hollywood movies to know that, it is indeed it's such a common thing that that movies are made about it, right? You get together with your family during the holiday season. All of this, baggage is there. All of this undealt with stuff and secrets, and it all comes out and then they make movies about it. But in all seriousness, I think that one of the reasons why a person may overindulge in the holiday season is because you're having emotions triggered when you are with family that are uncomfortable. And it's a tricky thing because everybody wants to get together during the holidays, pretend everything's all good, we're all happy, kind of engage that facade like it's all fine and dandy, but really there's all this stuff going on under the surface. And so anytime we want to suppress how we're feeling and avoid the truth about things, it is very likely that in that place we are going to have a feeling of wanting to suppress stuff. And a lot of people don't even realize that that is a connection that's happening. Don't realize that they actually are feeling uncomfortable for some reason in the presence of family or friends. They want to believe it's all good, and then they observe themselves doing these things with food, but it doesn't always have a direct correlation in the way they observe it. But I can assure you that if you were to be a bit more sensitive with yourself, you probably would uncover some of that stuff. Now, of course, dealing with family-based issues and our emotions about family and the people that we're around when we're during the holidays, obviously that process is not a small process. It's probably not something you're going to sort through between now and this next holiday season completely or anything. But I wanted to bring it up to get you to start thinking about it, because now that it is the holiday season, you do have an opportunity. So you have an opportunity to be around the people that you want to be around at this point in your life, or that you're usually around, and rather than tune out of yourself emotionally or kind of fall into the whole we're all happy, it's all good, really ask yourself how you're feeling in all of these interactions that you have and all of these situations that you find yourself in. Ask yourself, how do I feel about myself in these situations? What emotions am I having coming up about myself in this situation? What emotions are coming up for me about my relationship with this person or that person? How do I really feel about that relationship? How do I feel about the relationship those two people are having? How do I feel about that? Could be the relationship between your mother and your brother or something. And being really honest and challenging yourself to really tune in to what emotions are coming up. What things are making you uncomfortable? What frustrations might you be having? What worries might you be having? What fears might you be having? What things might be making you sad? What is going on there? And I think that that's a really good place to start, is to do that. And I think that if you can do that, you may not be as likely to overindulge as much, because you are tuning into yourself rather than out. Another reason why people compulsively eat during the holiday season is basically that there is now permission and encouragement from our families, our colleagues, our work colleagues, just from the culture, from the society. So in other words, a lot of the reason why this happens is because we already have a pre-existing issue with the desire to compulsively eat and the desire to emotionally eat. We already feel like we want to do that. It's just that the rest of the year, maybe we're employing to some degree of success, and maybe sometimes not so successfully, we're employing our willpower to kind of control ourselves into, our diet and lifestyle, exercise kind of regimen. But deep down, there's still unresolved stuff that causes us to feel like, yeah, but what I really want to do is just eat a lot of food. That would be great. And then, lo and behold, the holiday season comes around, and all of a sudden, right, our culture shifts into yeah, this is the time to indulge, this is the time to enjoy, and you get a lot of encouragement and permission and agreement with those kinds of behaviors from the people around you. And so the way to solve that is to recognize that it is still born out of the fact that there is still an underlying desire to be excessive with food and drinks. And so it's just that it comes out more. What's already there comes out more with this added permission. So the way that you deal with that is you recognize that just because everybody around you is doing it doesn't mean you should do it, doesn't mean it's healthy to do it, doesn't mean it's a good idea to do it. And to continue to look at what are those underlying reasons for me wanting to overeat food or have excessive certain kinds of foods and drinks at any point in the year. So that's that. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the issue of people pleasing. So this is another reason that can be, or this can be another reason why many of us overeat and eat, differently than we would like to during the holidays, is this issue of what other people will think. So, for example, kind of going back to what I was talking about with the culture of like, everybody's encouraging this behavior of eat in excess, drink in excess, have lots of this type of food, put yourself into a food coma, we're all doing it, it's all good. And while some of us might use that as a permission to do that, it's like, oh yay, now I've got permission to do what I really want to do. On the other hand, for some of us, we don't really want to do it, but we're so afraid of what people will think if we don't do the same thing we've always done. Or if we don't eat the same way and drink the same way that everybody else in the family or work party or friends party or whatever the situation is. We're afraid if we don't do that, people might think certain things of us. So, that could be like, it could be literally that all you want to do is just not put yourself in food comas. You just want to eat smaller portions this time around. It could also mean that rather than eating lots and lots of junky food, you also want to eat some healthy food, or all healthy food during the holidays. Or it could be that you don't want to drink alcohol. Or it could be that you're vegetarian or you're vegan, and whatever the nuance of it is, a lot of people are scared to be different than the family and friends that they are around. And that is one of the reasons why they're willing to hurt themselves or sabotage themselves for the sake of someone else. And this is something that has to be worked through, whether we're talking holidays or in general. It is okay to be different. It is okay to eat differently than the people around you. It is okay. It doesn't mean that you're difficult. It doesn't mean that you are ungrateful. It doesn't mean anything. You're allowed to make those choices for your own body and for yourself. And so I think that is something to be looking at, is what are my fears about what other people might think or say about me if I really stick to the way that I want to go about the holiday season, the way that I want to eat, and the way that I want to drink or not drink, and all these types of things. So that's something to look at as well. Now, the way that holidays could be for you, so if I just want to paint a little picture of how it could be. And the way that it could be is that the holiday season rolls around, it's coming up, and you're not worried. You don't have any anxiety about it because you've worked through enough issues to where you just know you're not going to do anything with food or drinks that will cause you any problems. And no matter how many parties you're invited to, no matter how many people are around, no matter who's around, no matter what kind of buffet of snacks is around and how often that is and what treats are there, and no matter what the circumstances are, you don't have to worry about it, and you don't worry about it. And then we go through the holiday season, all these things are happening, and lo and behold, you don't gain weight. You don't have a lot of excess more than you normally do, and it's just a non-issue. Now, am I saying that you can't enjoy like food? That's a thing I want to clarify. I'm not saying you can't enjoy food or you can't enjoy festivities. Like, I've had some fun holiday food so far, vegan stuff. I will have more, I'm sure, before the holidays are done. I like being in the kitchen and making sort of festive meals that are sort of unique to this time of year. So I'm not saying any of that is wrong. But what I'm saying is that the tendency to take it from real enjoyment of the festive season, enjoyment in the kitchen, joy with food, sharing it with other people, the joy of sharing food with other people, the dynamic of it going from a healthy place with all that into, okay, but now I'm worried about it. Now, it's causing issues for my body, it's causing issues for my weight. That whole issue will be gone. And it's not even hard. It's not really even hard to go through the holiday season and have everything be pretty non-dramatic that way. And that's how it's been for me. So if I share a little bit of my story, like, I have always loved I always had loved holidays. When I was little, I was like a holiday junkie. No matter what holiday it was, I loved it. But when the holiday seasons would come around, whatever holidays those were, I always overindulged. And it was pretty bad. I did some pretty crazy things with food every single year. But what I've found is that over time, as I've worked on different aspects of my relationship with food, and that as I've worked on those things, holidays have become like a non-issue for me when we're talking about weight gain or food and things like that. And it is a really like freeing place to get to. So it is something that everybody can get to. And I've kind of gotten there through working on the underlying reasons why I always had food addiction my whole life. So just continuing to hammer away at that stuff. Also developing more self-love over time as well. Being unwilling to sabotage myself with food and hurt my body with food no matter what the circumstances were. The more comfortable that I've become with being different, so I've had times where my family had their whole traditional Christmas dinner that was whatever it was, and I had like raw food, like raw vegan food. I don't eat just raw vegan food, but I have had Christmases like that. I juice cleansed once. My 60-something day juice cleanse that I did was through Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I think through New Year's as well. So the more I've been willing to just do my own thing, no matter how crazy people think I am, that's helped a lot. And to be honest, what also has changed is that there are some people, friends and family, that I have realized it is not healthy for me to spend a lot of time with. And so for me, a lot of the reason why I was compulsively eating was because I was with certain people with whom that relationship was quite toxic, wasn't very good for me to be around that person. And so it has been good for me to more consciously choose, who I spend the holiday season with and have it be, with people who the relationships are more loving and healthy for me. And now it's nice. Now I can, be around lots of food. I can be around buffets of food or, whole smorgasbords of Christmas candy. And I don't worry that I'm gonna binge on them like I used to. So to conclude this video, to wrap up what we've been saying, to really heal the reasons why we overeat during the holidays, it is an emotional process. It is not a quick fix. Even healthy kinds of quick fixes aren't going to do it, because what I want for you is that you can be able to be in a place where for the rest of your life, every holiday season, every holiday that comes around, you don't have to worry anymore because it's just not an issue. And so the reason why we compulsively eat during the holidays, there can be a couple of different factors, and some of those factors include the desire to suppress emotions that we're feeling, many of which may be around emotions we have about our relationships with our family and friends, or how we feel about ourselves when we're in the company of those people. We also may overeat because we already have that desire, and now we've got permission and encouragement to engage that compulsion. And then also the issues of people pleasing, the issues of eating in a way to please other people or to avoid other people's projections emotionally, and then be willing to sacrifice ourselves for that thing. And then lastly, we talked about how none of those things have to be happening, and it is actually possible, no matter how much of a compulsive eater you've always been, it is actually possible to get to a point where the holidays are really a non-issue when it comes to food and weight gain. So I have other videos about this topic on this channel if you want to look into more depth about how to do, those kinds of things and how to achieve those things emotionally. I have made some videos. I will continue to make videos on that topic. And, I hope that your holiday season is good, and, I'm certainly going to be enjoying some vegan cookies at some point. And you can find more on my website at courtneypool.com. I've also got links there to the coaching that I offer. You can donate there as well. And I will see you in future videos. Okay, bye everybody.